Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Rodney Wright, and I am a pastor from Lake City Community Church across the street from here. And I'm honored to be here today. I'm also honored to say that Greg was my friend. And I believe he called me his friend too. And I'm honored to share with us here today. On behalf of Greg's wife, Lindy, and his son, Dylan, and precious little Gemma, and Greg's parents, Fred and Sherry Moore, and all the family, thank you for being here with us today as we honor and remember and pay tribute to the life of Sergeant Greg Moore. Lindy wanted me to express her heartfelt thanks to so many here today. And I have tried to compile a list, so if anyone is forgotten, just know that it's my fault, not hers, because her heart is eternally grateful for all the love and care. To all the law enforcement in our community and around the country, to the Coeur Police Department, to the fire department and the first responders, to Kootenai Health and all its staff, from nurses to administration to facilities to the folks in the kitchen to the doctors to the security, to all of those, all of your care and love meant so much. To the city of Coeur d'Alene, to friends and extended family. Lindy would also express her thanks to strangers who she doesn't even know, but she has felt your love and your kindness. To the kids that wore blue yesterday at the schools, to all the banks and to all the local businesses and coffee shops and churches and schools and community service groups for all your generosity and kindness. It has been a gift of grace and strength for Lindy and the family during this most difficult week. This community, Coeur d'Alene, in my opinion, captures the very heart, character, and nature of Officer Greg Moore. Other-centered, self-giving love, highly relational. In the midst of this difficult tragedy, it has been amazing to see this community respond with such beauty and kindness and dignity. I want to share just a few words to help frame our time here together today, and all of those that are watching. We have gathered here today, first of all, to grieve Greg's death. We grieve this tragedy that happened in our community. It happened in our neighborhood Tuesday morning, May the 5th. And grief really is our normal, appropriate response to this loss. We grieve today because we've loved so much, and grief really is the price you pay for the ability to love. Grief is an expression of our love today. And our grief really isn't what's wrong with us. Our grief is what's right with us. And so today, the pain and the tears and the anger and the emotion that we feel, we want to express that in healthy ways. Because it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And I think grief is some of the hardest work we'll do. I found myself shedding tears, not just Tuesday, but this week, hugging my wife and chasing my 21-year-old around the house, hugging him, telling people I love them. Real men cry. And to all of those in law enforcement, I want to encourage you and give you permission to cry and to share your grief. Because when you do that, you're expressing your love to a great friend. Tears on the outside, they fall on the ground and they slowly wash away. But tears on the inside, they fall on the soul. And they stay, and they stay, and they stay. We were meant to grieve. So today we will do that. I'm so grateful that even though, as we say goodbye to Greg physically today, that his love for us and our love for him never dies. Death can't stomp that out. So today we've gathered also to honor and remember Greg's life. It was April 25th, 1972 in Walla Walla. One of Walla Walla's sweetest, I like to say, about Greg. Sherry, you remember that day? We recounted that story. Greg did not, in that day, she didn't even make it to the delivery room. The nurse had checked and said, he won't be here for a while, and she left the room. The doctors weren't present. Sherry was there with a couple friends, and Greg arrived. He arrived unexpected, and he left unexpected. But oh, was his life a gift. The 43 years that we had his life on this earth, and not just the hundreds, the thousands of lives that were touched by his. And those great memories that we have of Greg, we never have to say goodbye to. They are treasured gifts that we hold on to and that we share with others. Greg was a great dad. He loved Gemma so much, that beautiful girl. And oh, how he loved his son Dylan, his 12-year-old boy. You were one of his greatest joys, Dylan. And nice work today, by the way, on the soccer game. You scored a goal, and you assisted someone else with a header. Way to go. Your life was a gift. When Dylan was in 3rd grade, he wrote this to his dad, a card that said this: Dad, I love the way you treat me. What a beautiful expression. Dylan, the memory you have of your father will be such a gift for you. You guys like to wrestle. And you wrestled a lot, and if you got something in life, you had to earn it. Your dad made sure of it. He wasn't a pushover. And the last wrestling match you had was about a month ago. You pulled him off the couch, you initiated it, and you guys started to wrestle, and he had you pinned to look pretty close a couple times, and then you pulled out the armbar move on him. You got your dad in an armbar, and he tapped out. He wouldn't have tapped out unless you had him. So way to go. You are becoming a man right in front of our eyes, and I'm so proud of you. The memories that we share are gifts. Share those memories. I was with Greg's college buddies that are here, Kevin, Dan, Dave. We had some moments in the hospital together as we shared memories. What a gift. Lindy would encourage all of us to share the memories with her, whether it's in a card or a blog or a post or a tweet or verbally. Share those memories, because those memories are gifts we never have to say goodbye to. So we will remember him today. And the third reason why we've gathered here today is not just to grieve and not just to honor and remember, and we will have some of his friends and colleagues come to remember him today, but we've gathered here to reflect on our own lives. A wise man once said these words: "Death is the destiny of every man, and the living should take this to heart." Another sage said these words: "Like a mist, life appears for a moment, and then it vanishes. 10, 20, 43, 60, 80 years. I think you would all agree with me, life goes by quick. And today we're reminded just how quick and just how precious every moment in life is. I think Greg knew a lot about moments, and he made the best of lots of moments, and he cherished those moments. And today, this is our moment. It's our moment to reflect not only on Greg's life and his example, and we see in his example so great these words that no greater love than one that would lay down his life for a friend. And Greg laid down his life not just for a friend, but for a whole community. What a gift. What a gift. So may Greg's life today and his example become like a seed planted in the soil of our hearts And may it bear amazing fruit as we live our lives, as we reflect on this unselfish, other-centered love that we saw in Greg. If you would join me at this time in a moment of silence, and I would like to ask you, if you would, just to stand in honor of Greg. At the end of this moment of silence, I want to just share my personal reflections on Greg as a friend. Shall we pause and reflect on him today? Thank you very much. Greg, here are my reflections. First of all, Greg, I just want to say thanks for being my friend. Thanks for introducing me to Coeur d'Alene's finest dining establishment, Qdoba's. Your favorite place. Qdoba's by Greg would be a great name. Thanks for loving your wife, Lindy, Greg, and your kids the way that you did. Thanks for having such a wonderful son, and who is now becoming a man. He's a great communicator. He asks great questions, Greg, just like you. He is kind, he is respectful, and he is compassionate. And as you know, Greg, he has a mean armbar. He is such a gift, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for Dylan. Thank you for having such a beautiful daughter in Gemma. We will tell her all about you and how blessed she is to have you as a dad. I will tell her about you. We will tell her about you. Greg, thanks for letting me be on ride-alongs with you on your night shifts and hear you say those words, K27, out. Thank you for allowing me to see in action your title, Street Counselor, to this community. You have such a beautiful heart that is other-centered and self-giving. The quote, not thinking of your own interest, but the interest of others. You modeled that so well. Your love for this community and your heart's desire to make this a better place, Greg, was an amazing gift to all of us. And that gift will continue to inspire us as we move forward and follow your footsteps. Greg, thanks for calling me at 2:30 in the morning months ago on my cell phone and reminding me that I'd left my garage door open. When I told you to shut it and there's drinks in the fridge, you told me that wasn't protocol. We laughed. Thanks for the long conversations that we had, Greg. You asked great questions. You took the time to listen to me. I so enjoyed our conversations. And even though we didn't always agree on everything, but I loved our conversations because they were honest and respectful. What a gift. What Lindy said about you, Greg, is true. You're a great communicator. You taught me some very meaningful lessons, my friend. And I believe that I'm a better person today because of you. And I'm so grateful for the gift that you have been to me in my life, to us. Greg, wherever this relational, other-centered, self-giving love comes from, that you so courageously displayed in your life. It's that kind of love that I want to pursue the rest of my life. And I want to seek to have that kind of love be incarnate, be lived out in me. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for sharing your love. I love you, my friend. I will miss you. With a heart full of gratitude, salute. Rodney. You may be seated. At this time, one of our speakers is going to be Jennifer Brumley, a good friend, Greg's ex-wife, and the mother of his son, Dylan. Jennifer.
That is definitely going to have to be adjusted. Right into that. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. First and foremost, Lindy and I want to thank the local and extended law enforcement, this incredible community, our families, and dear friends for supporting us through this difficult time. I want to thank Lindy for the way she has handled this tragedy with such grace and fortitude, and how she has graciously allowed me to be a part of the grieving process with her. Surreal is a word that has crossed my lips many times over the last few days. I looked up the definition of that word, and Webster defines it as marked by the intense, irrational reality of a dream. This describes my feelings perfectly. As Lindy and I sat in the emergency room, we both shared that we never imagined Greg would get shot. Nor did we believe he would succumb to the gunshot wound that has left us alone to raise his children. It just wasn't possible with everything we knew about Greg. Lindy and I have always had a great relationship, and we've always had Greg's number. Since she and Greg got together, we've been able to speak freely about what we thought was best for Greg. Lindy was a perfect match for Greg, and I was so happy to see he had found his true fit and that she was so accepting of the relationship Greg and I shared. Greg also recognized what a perfect fit my husband, Kevin, was for me. He knew that Dylan had everything to gain from his mom having a loving and compatible partner. Kevin and I were blessed with a daughter, Jordan, and no one was surprised she and Greg took to each other immediately. Greg and Kevin, just as Lindy and I, became fast friends. They coached Dylan in Little League, played racquetball together, and Kevin, Greg, and I have played softball on the same team for the last 8 years. Greg's skills and abilities did not fall far from the apple tree. His parents and siblings have continued to consider me family. His mother even refers to me as her daughter-in-law with a wink. My parents and family have also continued to embrace my relationship with Greg as we celebrated holidays and weekends at our cabin at Priest Lake together. What woman would ask her husband's ex-wife to speak at his funeral? Who does that? Lindy Moore. And she does it because of the man we are all here to celebrate and remember, Greg Moore. Although unconventional, the relationship Greg and I shared and we were able to maintain is something we were both very proud of. Greg was approached by various individuals and asked how he maintained his relationship with me and how it was possible that Lindy and I were friends and so close. He received many requests to share the secret of how he created harmony for his son in a blended family. Greg and I had a different relationship than many exes. The truth about that relationship was that at the root of everything we did, Dylan's well-being was at the center. It helped that we truly cared about each other and we wanted each other to be happy. With those two factors at play, Dylan had a recipe for success. Greg had a way of doing things his own way. Greg wasn't what I call a trendsetter, but he was a man of change and improvement. I spoke with Greg on many occasions where he talked about the vision he saw for the police department. He had ideas about change. He thought he would improve the department and make work lives of his patrolmen better. He was always looking out for the members of his team. He loved Chief White. He believed he had found a teammate with as much vim and vigor as he had for taking the Coeur d'Alene Police Department to a level of excellence befitting of the community he loved. Greg excelled at making a plan and putting it into action. As serious as Greg was about his job, it's important to remember that Greg was funny. And I mean just downright funny. He could make you laugh with as many funny faces and ridiculous voices. He really took a classic Tom Green song to heart, but he changed the main lyric to, "My bum is on my wife. My bum is on my wife." I'm not sure Lindy found it as funny as those of us watching it, but she did laugh, which has prompted him to keep doing it. Humor was a part of Greg's daily routine, unless he was hungry. Those closest to him knew his name changed to Grumpy Greg when he hadn't had something to eat. And believe me, we would all scramble to find something, anything, for him to eat. As many of you know, Greg had one real passion in his life, his children. Before Gemma, Dylan was the epicenter of Greg's world. He was the most dedicated dad any wife or ex-wife could ask for. Greg's commitment to Dylan included coaching soccer, doing homework every day, wrestling on the floor, and taking him everywhere, whether it was vacations or just local getaways. When Gemma entered this world, Greg was with her at home on all of his days off. I can remember coming over and he'd be laying on the couch with her asleep on his chest, or she'd be propped up with pillows and he'd be sitting next to her. She was his baby girl and he adored her. One thing Lindy and I know for sure is that Gemma and Dylan will be close. They will always know their moms love their dad, and they will never have any doubt as to how much their dad loved them. Dylan wanted to share some comments and memories of his dad with all of you. These are his words. "My dad was the best. He would tell me anything and was always there for me. All the times I was sad or lonely, he would be right by my side to comfort me. Dad would also reassure me that he was okay going to work by telling me he was Batman. Because he worked at night and had lots of gadgets, was skilled and charming. Also, wherever we went, he would know someone that was there. I would always wonder how and why he knew those people. Dad's favorite place to eat was Qdoba. It has ended up being my favorite place as well. He was a Boston fan and has gone to a couple of games, but I know he would have liked to see more. Every day, though, almost like tradition, we would wrestle on the ground and try to beat each other. I've only won once, but I have learned so many things from him. I love him so much because he was a good dad, always helping people, and I want everyone to know that he is the best." Dylan wanted to play in a soccer game this morning. I'm going off script. I told Lindy I would. Pastor Rodney kind of stole my thunder, but that's okay. I'm so proud of the fact that he wanted to be out there today and play with his team, and his daddy was with him. He scored the first goal of the game. on a penalty kick. I don't know how he kept so cool, because I wouldn't have been able to do it. And then he had the most amazing assist by a header to his buddy, who then scored a goal. Greg and I often discuss the differences between confident and cocky. You might guess which word I was using. Greg did not struggle with self-esteem. That said, he never would have predicted or assumed the outpouring of love and support he had in this community. He would have been humbled and honored to have so many helping his family through this tragic event. And although he would not have predicted it, I know that right now he's sporting that big cheesy grin, puffing up his chest, and giving that little sniff. Many of you know the sniff. The one that he did when he was proud of what he'd done and wanted you to know it. He can now give that sniff and rest easily, knowing he did everything right by his professional brotherhood and his loved ones, most specifically Gemma and Dylan. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. One of Greg's college friends from the University of Idaho, a fellow Vandal who resides in Nevada, Dan Eccles, is coming at this time to share. So Dan, would you come at this time?